Hello and welcome back to Beckler Guitars and Repair. And today we've got a pretty cool guitar on the channel. This is a 2018 Gibson SG Standard. And it's got some pretty cool specs. But the most interesting thing about this guitar is that it's not supposed to come in this finish. This is like a natural or like a walnut finish. So the 2018 Gibson SG Standard only came in 3 finishes. It came in Heritage Cherry, Autumn Shade, which is a cool looking finish, and Ebony. So the only way you could get a natural or like a walnut burst, sometimes they call it SG, from this year would have to be like a special run or something else might have happened to it. I just picked this up locally. I haven't even plugged it in or played it yet. So we're gonna get to the bottom of this. Let's check it out. So I found this on Facebook Marketplace and I picked it up locally. It had a really good price on it. Probably due to the weirdness of the finish. So the official story of the finish from the seller was he got this from another seller, and when he got it, the story that he got was this had originally started out as a Heritage Cherry, but the previous owner had UV treated it. So what that means is basically Gibson finishes can fade from UV, so like sunlight, or you can artificially UV treat finishes sometimes. So apparently what happened to this was he took off all the hardware, all the different parts on it, so it was just stripped of all the strings and hardware and stuff like that, and then it was treated with like a UV lamp to fade the finish. Now I researched this, and apparently people do this and it can work. Usually not to this degree. Like usually you can't fade a Heritage Cherry finish to the point where it looks like totally natural. And it's very consistent all the way around. Like all over the guitar, there's no patches of red or anything else like that. It's totally like that natural walnut finish everywhere. So I don't really have experience with that. I've never really seen that done before. I've never done it. So I didn't really buy that story. So what I had originally thought, because this is a very like well done finish, it appears to be factory. What I had originally thought that this was like a special run from like Guitar Center or Long McQuade, you know, some sort of small dealer who did a special run of these in a special finish. But I couldn't find any information about that on the internet at all. I looked everywhere. And everything else about this guitar appears to be stock. This has all the proper specs of 2018 Gibson SG Standard. And on the card here, which has the proper serial number in the back, it says SG Standard 18HC. So that means it left the factory as Heritage Cherry, unless they got the card wrong or whatever else like that. So we're going to take this thing apart. If it was faded, the inside cavities, I'm assuming, would still have some cherry in there. I don't think they would be able to, you know, fade the inside cavities like the pickup cavities or the control cavities. I think those would still have red in there. The other option is this might be refinished. However, so when I got home I was very curious about this. So I tested the finish with some acetone. So I took 100% acetone and I put it on a little bit of an area somewhere on the guitar where you wouldn't notice it, and it reacted with the finish. So this is indeed a nitro finish, and it's very well done. Like it feels and looks exactly like Gibson finish, like from factory. So if it was refinished, it's a really, really well done job. But anyway, we'll know more about that once we get into the taking it apart. But this is a pretty cool SG in terms of year and specs. So this is a 2018. This year they were doing kind of like a 61 reissue kind of specs, but on the standard model. So you've got the one side of the pickguard, you've got the pickup rings mounted right to the body. On the SG Standard style, usually you get the larger pickguard, and the pickups are like mounted into the pickguard. And then the pickguard goes like behind the post. So you actually have to remove the bridge and stuff to get into the pickups. And this guitar's got some really nice natural wood grain. It's such a light mahogany, it almost looks like a Carina, but Carina does look a little bit different than this, so it's just a really nice light piece of mahogany, or a couple of pieces. And then we've got our top hat reflector knobs. We've got our black pickup rings. These are the 61T Gibson humbuckers, which are really, really nice pickups. The 61 Tributes are great. It's got a rosewood fingerboard, cryogenically treated frets. So basically that's just supposed to make them last longer. It's a treatment for the frets. It's supposed to harden them and prevent them from wearing out as fast. And then we've got our real mother of pearl inlay in the headstock with the pineapple, and our SG style truss cover, Corian nut, and a quick look at the back here. Again, really nice wood grain, that nice light mahogany. It appears to have the original buttons. Everything on this guitar looks to be original, and I'm hoping the pickups are original because I really like those. I haven't had a look inside the guitar yet. I haven't even plugged it in. I haven't tested it. I haven't done anything. I played it quickly when I got it and checked out the neck just to make sure it wasn't warped, but everything looked okay. And here's a look at the serial number. It dates it to 2018. And, you know, inside, like the impression of the serial number, if this started off with Heritage Cherry, you'd expect to see a little bit of red in there. But I don't see any. It's all like a darker brown. And these are the Grover locking tuners, which is a nice little feature. And it came in this really nice Gibson hardshell case. These are great cases. And the card as well, which does show it is supposed to be a Heritage Cherry. Alright, well, let's figure this thing out. Let's get on the bench and take a better look. Even for an SG, this guitar is super light, weighing in at just a hair over 6 pounds. 6 pounds, 2.8 ounces, or 2.802 kilograms. Alright, first time plugging it in. So it looks like the electronics are working. So the bridge pickup is reading a 7.84. The neck is a 7.83. And the middle position, a 3.92. Here's our full weight tailpiece with the casting mark down the middle. And this is our Nashville style tune-o-matic bridge. It's branded API on the bottom here. And it's just mounted to the body with the receiver system. So it's got a stud in the body that receives the screw here. It's a thumb wheel adjustment. The top of the wheel has an adjustment with an Allen key, so you can adjust it with an Allen key. Alright, let's have a look at our pickups. So, okay, yeah. Here on the bridge pickup, it says lead 61, which would be the bridge position 61 Tribute humbucker, with a 2018 date sticker on there. And here's a look inside the cavity here. So yeah, it shows it's red inside the cavity. So the Heritage Cherry is likely what it left the factory as. So now we just need to figure out if it's been refinished or faded, because actually the cherry inside the cavity does look a little bit faded too. So that's interesting. And it says SG standard 18, so 2018. And let's have a look at the neck pickup here. Yeah, so okay. Rhythm 61 humbucker for the neck pickup. So the pickups are proper. They haven't been swapped out or anything. And here's a look at the neck pickup cavity. You can see our long neck tenon there. And HC, which I'm assuming would be Heritage Cherry. So another interesting thing is usually if they're refinishing, they would strip the wood sanded down since the finish is gone, and then they'd have to reapply the nitro. So it seems like inside the cavity is the original finish, if it's been refinished. But usually if it's been refinished, you get these like bunch up on the side here, where the finish would like bunch up against the original finish. So I'm not feeling that either, so interesting. Okay. I guess the next step would be to remove these pick guards and see if there's any clues underneath there, like with the original finish. Maybe they didn't take these off during the UV process or whatever, and there's some red finish under there. Let's have a look. Alright, so, okay. So taking off the pick guard, you can see that there is a slight shadow from the pick guard. So the finish has reacted to the UV differently because this part has been covered. But they could have done the UV finish a while ago, or the refinish, and then just the UV that happened since then would account for the change. But let's just look here. Oh, interesting. Okay, so here we can see some red. So this is the original finish underneath there. So in my mind, this is the biggest argument for it not being refinished. Because why would they take the time to strip it, sand it down, refinish it all perfectly everywhere else, but not in this one area? Because they would have to be working on the whole thing anyway to strip it down and sand it. I can't see them just not doing this portion. That wouldn't make a lot of sense. So what I think happened is this whole guitar has been faded with like a UV lamp with like treatments, and for whatever reason this part is the only part of the guitar that didn't quite fade all the way. Might be due to that little piece of maple there, or just closer to this fingerboard. I'm not really sure, but I can't see them leaving this part while refinishing and sanding and redoing the rest of the guitar. It would just take a few minutes to get rid of that red. So that's interesting. Like I said before, the finish is really, really well done. It feels like a proper nitro finish. Everything else is factory. So I don't think this is a refinish. I think this was a fade, and this was probably the best piece of evidence to support that. Actually, while I'm filming this video, I got an email response from Gibson. I sent them an email with a bunch of pictures and the serial number, asking if this might be a limited edition that maybe, you know, it was originally a Heritage Cherry and then they switched it to the factory or something like that. And he said that this left the factory as Heritage Cherry. So it's either one thing. It's either been faded or a refinish. So I am definitely leaning towards the faded. And again, we can definitely see that red in the neck joint area and in the cavities. And I'm assuming it'll be in the control cavity as well. So here's a look at the back cavity. It does have this like textured control plate here. If I remember correctly, I think back in these years they have like some sort of shielding within the plastic on these ones, so you don't need the shielding on the back. It's kind of into the plastic. I don't think they worked that well, so they don't think they use it anymore, but it's kind of a neat idea. Here's a look at the cavity. So you can see that the cherry on the inside as well. All the electronics appear to be stock original. It's got the PCB system, like the Quick Connect, which can be kind of a pain if you need to repair anything, but for the most part they work quite well. And the route looks nice and clean. So just being thorough, another way you can check for refinishes is with a black light. So using a black light, we can see that it's all glowing evenly. So if this was like refinished by, you know, not a professional, you would see areas where the finish is glowing differently just because of different thicknesses and different parts of the guitar, uneven, that kind of a thing. But this thing is all glowing uniform and nicely. It's like something got spilled in the pickguard there, so that's causing it to glow a little differently. And headstock, yeah, it's glowing just like the rest of the guitar. I did notice some dings on the guitar you can only kind of see with the black light over here in the lower bout. Let's go ahead and flip it over. And again, just nice and uniform on the back. You can see every little scratch in the finish this way. Looks like there's a little one there that I didn't really notice before. And the neck is all glowing properly. And the headstock. So yeah, this combined with the little red mark underneath the pickguard near the neck pickup pretty much confirms that this is not a refinish. You'd be able to see a lot more with the black light if it was, but I'm very curious how they UV lamp this so uniformly, because it's all nice and faded. There's not areas that are worse than others. It's just really clean. So yeah, props to whoever did this, I guess. And I just want to go over the guitar's condition super quickly. You know, if you shine it into the direct light, you can see there's some picking scratches up here by the neck pickup. And as far as those little dings go that you can see in the black light, those are pretty hard to see. You can kind of see one right there, but just really minor stuff. The fingerboard's got a really nice grain to the wood, the rosewood, and our frets are in really nice condition. There's no divots or impressions. And there's very few tooling marks on the fingerboard or the fretwork as well, so that was well done. And just look at our headstock, just a little dusty. I'm going to give this thing a proper wipe down before I restring it. And there's a look at the truss rod, really good shape, no threads showing. No scratches or dings anywhere. If you look in the direct light, you can see a couple little spots. I think the black light on the back was pretty clean. I think there's one little scratch in that area somewhere. Up here, there's a little bit of a worn spot right there. You can kind of feel that in this finish. It's pretty hard to see though. And there's no dings or impressions on the neck. And there's a look at our locking Grovers that work great, and our serial number. So overall, this guitar is in quite nice condition. I'm going to go ahead and restring this thing and set it up, and then we can check the setup. So I managed to get a nice setup on this guitar. There's just a very little bit of relief in the neck, and using my depth gauge at the 12th fret, it's low E, it's sitting at about a 1 millimeter, and the high E, it's about a 1 millimeter as well. And then here in the 3rd fret area, you can see that when I use the 3rd fret, that the string is sitting almost directly on that 1st fret. So that tells me the neck is nice and straight. It's got good relief in the neck, and we've got a well-cut nut. I was thinking on a strap, this thing would be neck heavy because it's so light, but no, it sits perfectly on a strap. Sometimes these light SGs have neck dive, especially when they have locking tuners, because it's a little bit heavier. But this guitar, perfect. I'm just going to go through the whole fingerboard and make sure there's no buzzing or fretting out anywhere. So yeah, very nice slow action with no buzzing or fretting out anywhere, no hint of buzz or fretting out anywhere either. So you could probably go lower with the action if you wanted. It sounds nice acoustically. It actually rings out for a long time, lots of sustain. And it vibrates quite nicely too. Alright, just getting some neck specs. So width at the nut is a 1.69 or 42.97 millimeters. Width of the 12th fret is a 2.06 or a 52.38 millimeters. Neck depth at the 1st fret is a 0.81 inches or a 20.69 millimeters. And at the 12th fret, that is a 0.85 inches or a 21.83 millimeters. And here's a look at our Slim Taper C neck profile. Starts out quite rounded, flattens out a little bit by the 12th fret, but not much. It just kind of keeps that rounded profile. And it feels good. This is a very traditional neck for an SG. I myself like a little bit of a thicker one, but I think it feels good. All right, so now we've got to the bottom of this guitar. We've taken it apart, set it up, kind of got to the bottom of the mystery. I'm really sure it's been faded, like UV lamp style, rather than refinished. So let's go ahead and plug it in and see how it sounds. All right, I'm plugged into my JCM 2000 DSL 50. And then I'm just going to be using the amp for its natural distortion and overdrive. We're just going to go through each position clean and then with a little bit of dirt. I'm miking up a 412 with an SM57, and I'm using a AT2020 Audio-Technica condenser for the room. Yeah, sounds really nice, clean. I like it in every position. I really like these pickups, the 61Ts. They're just great. They're super articulate and clear, and they sound nice vintagey too. All right, let's try it with a little bit of dirt. All right, final thoughts on this 2018 Gibson SG Standard that started off life in Heritage Cherry, but has been UV faded to like a natural or a walnut-like finish. I think it looks great. Whoever did this, the fade treatment, did a really good job. There's not like spots of red anywhere. It's all uniformly faded. And it looks really good. I really love the natural finish on the SGs. I wish they did this more, but they tend to limit it to like limited runs or special editions, that kind of a thing. But yeah, natural SG looks great. This one happens to have lots of nice grain on the wood too, so it's a nice piece of mahogany. And yeah, it just really looks killer. And as far as playing and sounding goes, I love these pickups. I think they sound great every time I use them. This is no exception. It sounded really good plugged in, clean or dirty. Just a really nice vintage PAF style sound. The guitar is crazy light, you know, just a hair over 6 pounds. Feels very light, and there's no neck dive, which is kind of rare on an SG this light. And it plays great, super low action, with no buzzing or fretting out anywhere. There's room to go down on the bridge a little bit even more, but that's kind of where I like to set my action. Stays in tune great. The only thing I didn't love about this guitar is the neck. But again, this is a standard SG neck. This is the slim taper neck. This is the most traditional SG neck. I just got bigger hands, so I've just grown to prefer like a bigger 50s style neck, like on a 50s neck Les Paul or something like that. But I can still play this quite nicely. It's comfortable still. And the guitar condition is in really nice shape. It's got a few little handling marks, some picking scratches, and a couple little dings and doinks. But overall, it's in really nice condition. I really toyed with the idea of keeping this one because it's got such a cool story, because it's been like faded and started as a cherry, and it sounds great and it plays great. But I've just got too many guitars at the moment to deal with guitars that I don't love 100%. The only downfall of this guitar for me is the neck. But I'm sure if you love slim taper necks, that's not going to be an issue for you. I would also be interested in fading my own guitar. I do have a UV lamp that I use during my luthier days to cure finishes, and I think that's something you could use to fade guitars. So that might be a video series in the future, maybe trying to fade an SG Standard from Heritage Cherry to natural like this. Let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in seeing that video. So yeah, if you're interested in this guitar, it's going to be up for sale on the Reverb page. It comes with the nice case and the original case candy and stuff. But that's going to be it for today. Thank you for tuning into Beckler Guitars and Repair, and I'll have more for you really soon. Thanks a lot.